All right, y'all. Today we are going to be making smothered pork chops in a homemade gravy. These are center cut pork chops. I have 3 large center cut pork chops. These are all the seasonings that I will be using. I will also list them in the description box below. All right, we're going to get started with chopping up our onions. We're going to go ahead and chop these onions up, dice them up. This knife that I'm using was like killing me. I don't know why I chose to use this knife because it was not really that sharp. I also had to keep pressing down into the onions. But after we get these onions chopped up, I'm going to go ahead and start chopping up. I'm not chopping up, start seasoning up my pork chops. And this is my first like food tutorial. I'm going to start making more tutorials with me cooking because I do cook a lot and I know how to cook. So I'm going to start making more of those videos for y'all so y'all can see. But we're going to go ahead and finish on watching this and I'll be back. All right, y'all. So y'all see these pork chops right here. So we're gonna go ahead and get the season up. Before I start to season them, I'm going to put some gloves on, and then I'm going to wash my gloves. I'm just showing y'all me actually washing my gloves because I don't know how people can just throw gloves on and actually like start to let that touch your food. I actually have to wash my gloves like I'm washing my hands. So when I season my food, I don't measure it. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna put some measurements down below. I'm one of those cooks that don't measure my food. I like to eye it. Then I know that that's enough for it. So that was like about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Then my minced garlic. You want to use about a tablespoon of minced garlic. I didn't have a lot, so you're gonna see me just like dumping it out. For some reason, I could not get it out the jar. And then we're going to get them moving on to all the other seasonings. For everything else, you can use about a tablespoon. Get about a tablespoon of all the other seasonings. Every seasoning that I'm going to use. And then once I mix it all together, I'm going to have it marinate. Now, I started this late. Normally, I'll have it marinate for a few hours or at least overnight. So if you're cooking the day before, you can have it marinating overnight. Me, like I said, I started cooking late, so it's only marinated for about 45 minutes to an hour. Then I put it in the oven. So I'm going to go ahead and finish letting y'all watch and see how I gets down in the kitchen. All right, y'all. So finished seasoning, and this is what it looks like. Now you know we're gonna let it marinate. Once it marinate, that's when the seasonings will soak all into the meat, and it will begin to look flavorful before putting it into the oven. So I'm gonna go ahead, put aluminum foil on this, put it in the refrigerator, let it in the refrigerator, and let it marinate for about 45 minutes to an hour. While that is marinating, I'm going to go ahead and get started with my gravy mixture, or what I use to help my meat make the gravy. We're going to use about 3 tablespoons of flour. Now, you don't have to use as much flour. You can use about 2 tablespoons of flour, depending on the amount of broth or water that you're going to use. If you like your gravy thick, not on a little watery thin side, then yes, I will use my 3 tablespoons of flour. Now my chicken broth, the bottle was only half full. I didn't have an entire bottle, so I used half the bottle along with water. Now you're still going to put water in. You don't have to use as much water if you're using the whole chicken broth bottle. So go ahead and whisk that, and you want to whisk up that pretty good. Now pour in the chicken broth slowly with the flour, that way you're getting the lumps out of it, because nobody wants a lumpy gravy. Okay, so make sure you're pouring that broth in slowly and whisking it, because you want your gravy to look like this. You want this little mixture to be like this. We don't want no lumpy liquid. That means your gravy will be lumpy and we have all them flour clumps in it. We don't like that. That's not cute. It's ugly. So once we get this mix, set that to the side, and then I'm going to melt a whole stick of butter, because I'm going to pour that butter on my pork chops before going into the oven. That also gives it flavor and help it brown. The whole butter. Let's see, I'm using unsalted butter. So now y'all see those pork chops after it's marinated. Then we're going to put them onions on top. Put the onions in there. Put the onions in. Pour the broth and flour mixture in. And then we're going to pour the butter on top. And then we're going to pour water in there. And then it's going to go in the oven on 350, covered with aluminum foil, 350 for an hour, and about an hour 30, hour 45 minutes. And then you're going to uncover it for another hour, about an hour and 25 minutes. So you want it to be tender, like fall off the bone. And the thing is, I use the same way when I cook my turkey wings and when I cook my chicken smothered in gravy. I do it the exact same way. So now we're going to pour that butter on top, and that's going to definitely give it browning and flavor. All right, now we're going to get started on my sides. Throwing some fresh broccoli that's already chopped up and get those rinsed off. Also going to do some garlic string beans along with some white jasmine rice. So then there goes my string beans cooking. I'm going to get my broccoli started. Add my water in the pot already. And yeah, the stove is on. It just doesn't look like it. So I got my butter. And this is my Goya seasoning. It adds flavor. That's in like the international foods aisle in the market. It definitely adds flavor to your food. So my string green beans are about ready. I just have them simmering on low now. And there goes my broccoli, still steaming up. Looking good, looking good. I'm telling y'all, since this quarantine stuff, well, I always did cook. I didn't cook a lot, but I guess since I'm not working and I'm in a house now, all I do is cook. Like, all I do is cook. So I'm definitely going to start making more videos for y'all. Now, here's the final look. Do y'all see that pork chop in that gravy? Oh, my God. Do y'all see that? And I said that pork chop was seasoned so good. And I'm just going to show y'all how tender it is. It's so still very moist. Well, that's it for this tutorial. I'll definitely be back with other recipe tutorials. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know how your food turned out if you did try this recipe. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below, and I will see you guys next time. Bomb.